and welcome back to my channel. So guys, in today's video I bring you this interesting video that I found on TikTok, guys, and I think it should interest you too. It's quite similar to the one that I posted earlier. The only difference is that the question is for the Asian people, like why do Asian people hate black people so much? So let's get into the response by Amy Chen. If you don't know Amy Chen, she does very good content, great content on TikTok. Go ahead and search for her. She goes by the name, her name is Amy Chen. Yeah, so let's watch this clip and then we are gonna talk.
Please be patient with me because there's so much here. I think the quick answer is that Asian Americans are given white privilege, especially the Asian Americans who fit the model minority stereotype. The quid pro quo for receiving that privilege is upholding white supremacy culture, which means being anti-black. I was talking with somebody last night who was pointing out that the Civil Rights Amendment was passed in 1964. But also in the 1960s, the United States opened the door to Asian immigration. So now you have an influx of racial minorities who knew nothing about the history of white violence against black people, knew nothing about the black civil rights movement. So they arrived with civil rights, not understanding how that came to be. And also it effectively erased the United States' own anti-Asian history, because Asian Americans came in not necessarily knowing about the Chinese Exclusion Act or the internment of Japanese Americans in the United States during World War II. And I think that Asian Americans are used as a buffer between the black community and the white community, because in the 1960s, there was almost a racial reckoning. The white power structure almost had to face accountability for the history of violence against black people. But instead, Asian Americans were inserted and were pit against each other, so that we're always up against each other, and that basically like white supremacy escapes accountability. And the example that I think of that sort of started like the root of a lot of tension is Asian Americans were buying into the negative media stereotypes of black people. And then in the events that led up to what became known as the LA riots, the LAPD kettled protests away from wealthy white neighborhoods and into Koreatown, and then they left. And we know how that played out. So again, the two communities being pitted against each other and away from the white power structure. And obviously the model minority myth is used to oppress the black community. And there's so much here. I will be getting more into it, but I feel like that's the quickest answer that I can give that gets a little bit into the history. And I'm really curious to know what the black community and Asian Americans feel about this. But please be patient with me. Thank you.
Very well explained, right? A great educational approach to initiate a conversation, right? I mean, these are just facts, unless you think otherwise, which you're allowed to do, of course. So go ahead, leave your own thoughts in the comment section below, because when this video was posted on TikTok, people stitched this video, people responded to this video, and I've collected a few videos of these stitches for you guys. So let's just get into the stitches.
Are given white privilege.
Y'all gotta excuse me if I sound bad or if I'm dragging my words and shit. I really ain't feeling too good right now. But yeah, this is why I didn't support Stop Asian Hate. I didn't support that movement, and I still don't support that movement. Well, how can you say that when you've been discriminated against and racially profiled? Simple. They don't care about that. They don't care about that. When it comes down to us being racially profiled and discriminated against, they tend to say things like, we cause it upon ourselves. And I remember as a kid, people telling me that if you go to China, they look at black people like they dirty. They think the darkness of your skin is dirt. You know what I'm saying? Or like you just a nasty individual. Don't know how true that is, but it always rubbed me the wrong way. And just having experiences in these Chinese hair stores or Asian hair stores and Asian food places and buffets, like they treat you like shit. They really.
Quick answer is that Asian Americans are given white privilege.
Okay, so a little story time about the time that I got discriminated against by a whole bar full of Asian people after I flew in to a hotel one night, coming from Florida to New York or whatever. And yeah, let's jump into it. So one night, or one day, whatever, I had to fly into New York for work. That night, I had so much going on with work that I was just like, you know what, let me go get a drink. Cool. I got super drunk that night. I ended up going to, prior to getting super drunk, by the way, I ended up going to a Asian bar, which is partly why the reason why I got super drunk like afterwards, because it just was like mentally was like, oh my god, I can't find a place, and then this just happened, like seriously. I ended up speaking to the owner of the bar, and it was this like Asian like dungeon like looking bar. It wasn't like dungeon, but it's like you walk down into it or whatever, New York. If you know, you know. And I go inside and I get this weird feeling where everyone just kind of like stops and stares at me. When I say everyone, there was at least 50 to 60 people in there, you guys, and it was so big inside that you couldn't see all of the people. It was like you could see like you'd have to go in and like make turns and stuff to see like all like, you know. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that was an over exaggeration. I think I was just so traumatized it seemed like 60 people. It was actually 20. It just seemed like that much. I mean, it was about that much, 20 about, anyway. Yeah, so I'm in there and I wanted to order a drink. So here's the first thing. First racist, thing that happened was, oh, I'm sorry, but you can only buy drinks here for a table. Now, keep in mind that they have a bar and you can buy a drink at the bar as well. But they kept persisting and focusing on, no, I'm sorry, you can't drink here. You have to, it's for a table, you can't drink here. And so intellectually, I was like, let me just ask, can I just take one drink at the bar? Then, I felt, it was an Asian girl that I was communicating with. I felt like weird. She goes and talks to someone else. You could already see she has this like attitude or whatever. Then she comes back to me and she says the same exact thing. So I'm like, wait a minute. I know you're lying. I'm not stupid. Where's the boss? So anyway, I eventually just kind of like worked my way into a conversation to speak to the owner or the boss. He actually flat out comes and tells me, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I own this bar. Most of the people and all the people that come here are Chinese, and Chinese people are racist. They don't like black people. There you go.
Against black people.
It gives me so much hope when I see people of color coming together. Take a look at that when you get a chance. Meanwhile, here are a few things to consider. Specifically, if you are a person of color living in the United States. First of all, it makes no sense to believe stereotypes exported around the world that one group of people has against another group of people who they have oppressed. Come on now. If there is a group of people that for centuries has been marginalized, enslaved, and oppressed within your country or to a country you are about to emigrate to, let's be honest, you should be way too smart to believe the stereotypes against those people. There's clear bias. And not only that, bias against people who they have oppressed, as if putting your foot on someone's neck for centuries isn't enough. Someone might say, well, I didn't know all that history. But if you don't know, then stop making assumptions and shut up. That would be like me deciding to move to Australia and then believing the stereotypes against the Aboriginal people there. What? Their land was stolen. There has to be a reason and an excuse given for why other people came and took everything they had. Why would I believe stereotypes against them? Even if you choose to move someplace whose history you have no clue of and whose present you have no interest in, you just want to go and make money or run away from oppressive conditions. It is well known that the United States of America didn't just appear from nowhere and didn't just become so powerful on its own. The American system is a system built on white supremacy. Specifically, land was stolen and labor was stolen to build the foundation of what we see today. In order to maintain such a system, the elite need to hold on to their power dynamic. And the way that elite people throughout human history have done so is through a system called divide and conquer. It's an effective strategy, but honestly, it shouldn't still be. And in the United States, it's in the best interest of those in power to do everything they can to keep everyone else divided, because if everyone else united, then there would be a problem. especially since the elite are a numeric minority. Enter the model minority myth. The height of the civil rights movement was globally embarrassing for the United States, so among many, many things done was to compare different groups of minority people, and to do so out of context. It was deceptive at best, and we all should have seen it coming. Imagine if the unity of Yuri Kochiyama and Malcolm X had been a model that spread like wildfire. It would have been incredible, and both groups would have benefited till this day. Suffice it to say, systemic white supremacy needs to end, folks. And our generation needs to be the one to do it.
And that's all I had for you guys in today's video. Please feel free to leave your own thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Give your own 2 cents in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, guys, please go ahead, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that every time I upload such videos, you will be notified. I will definitely see you in my next video. Peace.